Welcome to another edition of the Taylor Truth Podcast. This is your host, D. Taylor, and
Y'all know me.
we might have new people listening and checking in.
I'm Tyann.
And we have a special guest with us, my friend of over 25 years, Mr. Kevin Big Dog. Not gonna give your last name.
That's what I'm talking about.
Not gonna give your name. We don't do that on here.
No government.
No government. That's just Kevin.
Don't do that.
Well, we do for all of our guests. For all of our guests, we have one rule. You can say what you can.
Anyway, we'll say what we want to say, play how we want to play, feels good that way. Soji rap. It's time to pick up first. Do you met a flavor? And go first.
That's the only rule we have. Everything is open for discussion. Everything is open for discussion. Everything is open. If you let us do what we normally do at this time, and that is share to our Facebook pages and let people know that we are live. We live. But we usually do this on Sunday nights. We've changed the time in 2020 because our Sundays have been getting a little hectic. So we are now doing on Saturday evenings. Mama has joined it. That's one thing. She's always the first one.
Mom.
Shout out to Don T.
Mom Duke.
You're always gonna be Don T. Don T. Thank you for checking in.
Mama D.
And we are sharing our posts. We are trying to build the audience. I don't know where we are on the YouTube, but we're here.
We had one person last week that hung with us.
That hung with us.
Who that was.
And we want to thank our guests, our one person. We appreciate you. We appreciate you wholeheartedly. We are playing producer again tonight.
He didn't want to do it.
He didn't want to do it. I think he was upset from last week.
Because we did it while he was asleep.
Yes, so. He was extremely tired last Saturday. And so here we are here today. I'm not starting a watch party. I'm just sharing it to the other posts and pages, but we are here. And we're going to be talking about a variety of topics, but the main topic is going to be code switching, and we're gonna let Tyann tell y'all what that is if you do not know what code switching is. But to start off this week, on last Sunday we had a very, very tragic death that really affected a lot of us, a lot of people, a lot of sports fans, a lot of just people in general that didn't even realize or know how much that action or that movement would affect how we would carry on our regular scheduled day. And that was the death of Kobe Bryant. Many of us are still struggling with coming to grips that Kobe, a man that most of us grew up with and grew up watching. I know myself in 1996 when he actually declared for the NBA draft, me and Kevin were graduating from high school. And so we basically lived our whole entire adult lives watching Kobe do his thing, from his early struggles to his legal struggles to his great triumphs. And his one of the things I like, because I'm a Detroit Pistons fan, and him and Shaq and them lost in the finals to the Pistons that year. But then he got back up without Shaq and still won NBA championships. You saw a man that had a great relationship with his daughter, his family, and has really inspired this younger generation of NBA basketball players and young people.
And I think those were the two main reasons why I think it touched the lives of most people, not only, to be a parent or a father, first of all, and to have it happen all of a sudden. I think for some reason we seem to deal with death better when it's like if it's somebody that's sick or something like that, but to have it suddenly happen. And also the fact that people in our generation or younger actually grew up watching Kobe. So I think those were the two common denominators. And you think about it, it's like our generation and the generation, I think maybe before us, not even the generation before us, but the generation after us, had a closer connection because of his age. He was our age.
Yes, exactly.
So, you got to think about that. And I think that's why, not only his greatness as in basketball, but that's why it touched so many lives. The fact that, this tragedy happened. So, but they not dwelled, but the tribute they did last night was good. And you've been watching, if you watch television, period, you've been reminded of it. So we're not going to spend a whole lot of time on it, but we just want to recognize and, of course, praying for his family and all of the other 7 people that lost their lives on that day. So, yeah.
How did you take it and feel about it, Kevin?
So at the time I was at work, and to hear it, it was shocking just to have a lot of people come in from their breaks, because I was out on the floor working, and have a lot of people come back from breaks and ask, did you hear what happened? Did you hear what happened? And to have to go and check to see what happened, and it makes you think about how fast something can happen and how fast life,
For sure.
how long, life is short. You don't know when your time is, and to lose somebody of that caliber, the way that we lost them, it was a little.
You just turn your volume down,
Turn the volume down,
sweetie.
We do have another guest on the couch that does not want to be on the camera. Say hello, guest.
Hi.
You kind of made your appearance. please silence all phones while we're streaming. Thank you, please. So go finish up.
Yeah, it was gut wrenching, man. Because especially when you didn't know who the victims were initially, and praying that like you knew he was on there, and then you heard it was his daughter on there, and you're like, oh my God, is it like his wife and the other babies, and like,
Yeah,
it was
scary to think about the variables.
Yeah.
Could a whole family could possibly be lost,
just be gone
like that. One of the things that came out was that TMZ.
Hey, Mom, it's you too.
That TMZ was one of the first ones to get there, and they kind of reported it even before the family got notified. The police was really upset with that TMZ did that. But if it wasn't TMZ, it probably was going to be some other news outlet trying to get the story out, because that's basically what they do. They're trying to get the story out as fast as possible. The only issue I had with it is the inaccuracy of some of the people that was on the flight at first. Because first we heard it was 5. Then when the police came, and said it was 9. Then there was one report said Rick Fox was actually on the helicopter.
Well, see, this is why I say, and we've talked about this before on this show, and it really perturbs me. Now, I spend time on social media, but I am very cautious as to what I post and when I post it. And that is the problem. I think a lot of people get information from whatever that may be, and then they are quick to repost it without fact checking for themselves. Like, even when we were at dinner, when we got the news and we saw it, nobody else had posted about it except for TMZ. And I was like, no, babe, we're going to wait. We're going to wait. And we kept refreshing the screen. And then gradually other news outlets started to pop up. But I am not one of those people that post. So when stuff was coming out about whoever, whether it be Rick Fox or whether, it was saying the rest of his family was on there, I was not going to regurgitate information that had not been proven. And I think that's one of our problems. Yes, that's what TMZ does. You got to call a spade a spade. That's their job. That's what they do. Wrong or not, whether you agree with it or not, had it not been them, they sit there and listen to police scandals. They post it up in Calabasas. You know, that's their job. That's what they're supposed to do. But it is up to us as people that take the information they give us and transmit that everywhere. It's our responsibility at that point to be very cautious of what we repost. And so that's why, you know, a lot of people, I think I inboxed one other person. I'm like, please take that down until you figure that out. And I'm quick to call people out on that. I'm like, no, don't post that because you don't know what that is. I'm not going to even say, I think such and such has happened until I know for sure that this has been fact checked.
I know when it first hit, I was like, no, that can't be true. That's TMZ. No, but I've known TMZ now to be a very, very reliable source, especially when it comes to sports and gossip, how I say, in sports. But they've been very, very reliable because they were the first ones to break the Lamar Odom in the hotel thing. But I was like, no, I need another source. I need somebody else to say this. I need this because I can't go on it. And then I was just feeling like so emotional. And I was like, nah, this can't be. This can't be.
Yeah, I don't question their accuracy. They own it for sure. Hey, Nikki. They're normally on it, but I like waiting. I'm not a news media person. We do this podcast as a as an outlet and form of entertainment, but I don't have to be the first one to post that I know. That's just it. Like, and we don't have to be those people. So I just think we are I can't be so upset with the news outlets of reporting because it's all speculative until they can get concrete information as to what the facts are. And I'm not going to, like I said, regurgitate any information until I've done all the fact checking that I know I need to do. So I can't get mad. Yes, TMZ is very reliable. Nikki said they were just wrong for breaking the news before the family was notified. I agree. But that's what they do. That's
their MO. Do you have any favorite moments from Kobe? Because I know you're not a super basketball fan, you know.
I'm a sports guy, but I'm not a super basketball type of guy. So I can't say that I have any favorite moments from Kobe. I think the last time I actually sat back and paid attention to what Kobe was saying, I think he was on ridiculousness. I'm being honest, he was on ridiculousness. He was tripping out. He was having fun. It was good to see a guy at such a young age, retired, just won an Oscar, doing things with himself, and propelling himself and his brand and his family forward. It was good to see. And, you know, just to see somebody enjoying their time, because you're talking about a guy who put a lot of time and effort and energy into basketball. Mm-hmm. He went hard for it, you know. So it was just good to see him kind of more in a relaxed state instead of being more of the Mamba mentality. Mm-hmm. He was just, you know,
a lot of people
just a guy having fun, you know what I mean?
That they didn't appreciate him or like him until after he retired. And that was because he got although very talented, and you can question this from athletes or superstars or whatever, in their greatness, they have this reputation for being arrogant. And then for the people that I've noticed, it was like, I don't like Kobe because he's arrogant or whatever. He may have had the right to be, but a lot of people didn't rock with him like that until after he retired, because that kind of was subdued. The arrogance was kind of subdued because he didn't have to be
the appearance of being
arrogant. Yeah, well, he may have been, but I don't know.
Let me.
You do your thing. I don't have no problem with you being arrogant.
Truthfully and honestly, when he was playing, I was a Kobe hater. Kobe was a villain to me. Kobe was a villain. Or as a basketball fan, as a basketball person, as an NBA person, as a man, I didn't know the man, so I couldn't really have that assumption that I didn't like him. But as a fan of basketball, as a fan of a team, I was definitely a Kobe hater. One, because we didn't have Kobe. That's number one. When you don't have greatness, you hate on greatness sometimes. You know, especially when your team is like on the cusp of doing something good and being great. But I did. This kind of helped me get through what some of the stuff was and how I was feeling, because as a fan, I was confused and perplexed on how much his death actually affected my everyday life, and why can't I get past this? But like I said, I was a Kobe hater, and let me go down the list of why I was a hater and why maybe a lot of people were Kobe haters. The first thing, he wanted to be like Mike, and we said this dude is just trying to be just like Michael Jordan. Why he trying to be like Mike? Can't he be like himself? Blah, 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 blah. But many of us wanted to be like Mike. They even had a Gatorade ad campaign saying, I want to be like Mike. It was all cute, and then we found a dude that actually could be like Mike, and then we was mad. And he was just better at it than anybody else could be. He had the skill level. So
and the mindset.
And the mindset, the mentality, because people was calling Michael Jordan arrogant at one point. At one point in time,
that's what I'm saying.
And he was determined. And I think a lot of times when people are determined to be successful and great,
they have to exude a bit of arrogance to me. Like you just have to.
Yeah. Number two, most of us were Shaq fans, and when Shaq had beef, had beef, we had sided with Shaq. When we just wanted to be the big fella and to work as hard as, but he wanted the big fella to work as hard and win all the time, just like him. And I said, what's wrong with that? That's what we should expect from our team and push others to be better. He wanted Shaq to be the greatest version of Shaq that he can be. But Shaq was like, yo, as long as I get to the playoffs, I can win championships. And so he came into camp out of shape. He would show up to training camp with 24 dozen of Krispy Kremes where everybody else running. Shaq over there on the bench eating. He was like, yo, I can't work like this. He don't have the mentality to be the greatness that I think he should have in a way he should have it. Number three, because I know you said you was a Shaq fan too.
Yeah.
Number three, Kobe and AI almost was like parallel to each other coming into the league. One year was AI, then it was Kobe. And most of us from the Hampton, Newport News, Richmond, Virginia, the DMV were big Allen Iverson fans. Allen Iverson exuded hip-hop to us, and the way he played, the cornrows, the super baggy. Mike had introduced loose shorts, but he had and then Fab Five had the loose shorts, but Allen was 5'8", 5'10", and he had like super big shorts.
But not only that, like AI for us was touchable.
Yeah.
So like us as freshmen or sophomores, whichever year we was when his high school actually played John Marshall, we actually seen him from a high school level player,
mm-hmm.
and then knowing of his skills as a football player, and most of us played football, so he grew up in the same area we did. At that point, that I can think of, we didn't have anybody to make it that big.
That was that close.
That was that close to us in proximity.
Yeah.
Like it was kind of unheard of.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just like, oh, one of us made it. You know what I'm saying? So AI was just like, it still is for me, like that dude. Like, you know what I mean? Like he was just that dude. He was from the hood. He never changed himself. He always remained the person he was. And he was from our area. You know what I mean? Like it.
Yep. For sure. You want to touch on one more point because we need to move on in the hours there.
Number 4, Chris Childs. You can't be my hero and get yanked up on TV like he did. Most of the people forget that Kobe, when he was young, ran up on Chris Childs when he played from New York and caught a 2-piece to the dome. Oh, see, yeah, Google that. It's still on you. I don't think they took it down yet, but that jump was.
I won't watch
It was funny to me when he caught that 2-piece in a biscuit from Chris Childs. It was right up the middle. Everybody seen it coming except for Kobe. That's the one thing he remember when he threw the ball and he didn't flinch. He ain't flinch because he remember how Chris Child gave him a 2-piece to the dome. And one more, he whipped all our teams. Most of our teams that did not have Kobe got dominated by Kobe. So that's a little bit of my list. I'll share my full entire 10-part list on our page. I was just looking at it right now, but RIP Kobe, his daughter Gigi, and the 7 other people that was on that flight. It was a big hole in the universe on that day. All right. Next. Kevin is with us, and he has a unique circumstance. He is the father of 2 twins. So
A
set.
a set of
Yeah,
twins.
not 2 twins.
I don't
two.
have 4.
A set of twins. I'm sorry.
I got 2.
Thank you for the correction. Thanks for the
I'm a
correction.
father,
Oh, y'all
I'm a
ain't
father
no
of
baby.
twins.
A twin. Oh, I'm not speaking that into existence.
No, in no kind of way.
A set of twins. So how is it raising? Because we have raised children, but they would have been different ages. How is it raising 2 little people at the same time, the same age?
So let me, and
Speak up.
they're boy-girl twins.
That's
So-
perfect.
So I got the best of both worlds
Mhm.
all at once. It's not easy.
I guess not.
It is not easy. Because as babies, for those of you that have kids and have bought Pampers, you know they make them for boys, they make them for girls. So it ain't like we can go out and just buy a set of Pampers and put it
I
on
didn't
both
even
of
think
them.
I didn't even think about that.
So you got to buy
2 separate boxes.
2 separate kinds.
Woo!
And they're uniquely different.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody in it? You guys know my kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're uniquely different. So it's not the easiest thing. Is my wife does a lot. I'm at work a lot, so she does a lot with her hands in the pot.
Mhm.
But when we are together, it's a team effort.
Mhm.
It's a wonderful experience, but it's also frustrating at times.
Okay.
Just from the standpoint of having kids so young and them being so different from each other, and they don't partake in the same.
One size does not fit all.
Yeah,
with
they don't
one
partake
another.
in the
Yeah.
same things too much. Mason's in the video games. Peyton a player, but she's more of a artsy type of person.
Mhm.
But she's athletic. She does gymnastics. He does football. He does golf. She does Girl Scouts.
So y'all
Yeah.
are torn
Y'all are
into
running.
yeah.
Morgan is
Well,
my
because it
wife
only
is
gets
running.
worse
Yeah, it only gets worse from
as
here.
they get older
Yeah.
and decide to be involved
Yeah,
in
so
more activities.
it's humbling. It makes you humble. It makes you value life a lot. But that's even if you just got one child.
Uh-huh.
Right.
But to have 2, I tell you right now, the scariest moment for me in having babies was the day that we left the hospital, and I had to put them 2 babies in a car and drive home. That's when everything got real for
It
me.
hit you.
Yeah, it's
It hit
Everything got real for me on that day because I was like, man, I'm gonna lose it if somebody hit my car right now.
you. Right.
Seriously, I was
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna lose it if somebody hit my car. And making bottles upon bottles. I got a picture somewhere with like 13 pink bottles and 13 blue bottles that we made for them to have. What was it, 10? Something like that. Like every 2 hours. However we had to feed. I was making the bottles for like that, like on a daily basis. And,
So you talking about at least 20 bottles.
yo, formula.
I don't.
How did y'all survive
sorry, go
financially? Because that is because one child would break most folks.
You get assistance from Georgia
Yeah.
State.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely.
We got assistance from the state of Georgia. Them cans of formula was $40 a pop.
Yeah.
And that was regular formula, right? Was it special? It was
some kind of special formula that they had to have, and they was like $40 a pop. Like, who can afford that, even on a good salary,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
for twins?
Right.
Not just one, but twins. You know, but I love them to death. They are.
Did you find that as they got older, it gets a little bit more easier? Besides the running around or whatever, but as far as your frustration level,
No.
no,
I think it actually gets harder now.
really.
To me, because when they were babies and couldn't talk, they couldn't express themselves the way they do now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when they express themselves, it's weird, man. Kids these days, their brain power is off the chain.
Mm-hmm.
They know so much at such a young age. And when they were babies, it was just like you were just trying to take care of a being that really just wanted to drink milk and play with little toys and put pacifiers in their mouth, and you could pick them up and put them in the car. And now they're, you know, getting older and they have an opinion. They want their tablets. They want to play games. They want to go to this place.
They're developing personalities.
Yeah, they're developing their personalities, and they're growing into little people. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's expected to happen. That's how it's supposed to happen. But
nothing prepares you.
Prepares you for that.
No.
So did you or Morgan read that book?
What to expect?
What to expect when expecting?
So let's get this straight. I don't read. I can read, but I don't read.
I'm sending you home with a book. I want you to take a look at it.
Maybe the audio version. If they send you the audio version.
But did Morgan read that book?
I don't know what.
Okay.
Morgan read some stuff,
man. Because one of the things, because I actually, when we were expecting our first couple of children, I think Tyann read it when their month was in the belly.
And that was it.
I read it when Destiny was in the belly, because I was like, "What is going on? Why I can't get this right?" And so I was just trying to figure things out. I was trying to figure what was going on in her body out, and what's going on in her head, and what's the mood and emotions and all that stuff. But I'm gonna tell you, most of them books, it still don't prep you for what's happening and what's going on.
None, and especially for two, I can't imagine.
Yo, and they were 4 hours apart, y'all.
4 hours apart.
Sun came first. Service closed back up. We had to wait another 4 hours.
Wow.
Oh no.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's a while.
Yeah.
I don't think I had heard that though. Like, I knew that's a possibility because you got some. It was some wild story in the news of some kids who were born like 24 hours apart or something like that.
And one they weren't officially twins,
right?
Because it was the next.
And
day.
this was the kicker. That set of twins was born 24 hours apart on New Year's Eve. So one was born in 2019, the other was born in 2000.
Oh, wow.
So they gonna have to start school at different times.
Right. I was like, oh Lord, you funny. Lord, you got jokes.
Just to even add to it, like when you have twins, for any of y'all that have kids that's in daycare, twins is a mortgage.
I can imagine.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Remember what Mia was telling us?
Yes,
it was on here.
Because Mia was telling us, we had my goddaughter Mia on here one time, and she was telling us that her daycare for the baby
was $240.
$240 a week for one.
Because when we took them to daycare, it's like all in all, it's probably like about $1,200 a month.
I just died. Who's Lord?
Okay.
1,200
for them to do after school right now. That's $6 and some change.
Woo.
Yes, folks. it gets real.
Gets real quick too, though.
You talking about $300 a week? Oh no. Look, and gone are the days.
But
rest in peace, my Judy. Rest in peace, Miss Pat. $25, $30, $50, $100 a week.
now imagine my mom was there for
Mhm.
for a big bulk of that. But to send them to daycare and have them and pretty much have them prep for school, like P was counting to 10 in Spanish before pre-K.
Oh wow.
You know what I'm saying? Like
That little girl is so
Yeah.
smart. She's something else.
she's a brainiac.
Yeah.
She's a brainiac. And Mason is real laid back and real. He plays it cool, but he's super smart. Like you're really not gonna get nothing over him. But he's gonna try to get over him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's gonna try, at least.
Sound like your daddy. Yeah.
Seen his genes.
So, as growing these little people, right now, what are you looking forward to the most? Because do you mind sharing that age?
They're 6.
So 6 years old. So then, but kindergarten, first grade. Well, so you got 11 more years. Yeah. What are you looking forward to the most in these transitioning years?
I'm looking forward to really just seeing the progress, because you see the progress. You know, they're in that stage right now where they lose teeth and all that, and that's like super cute. You know what I mean? And they be super happy, and they waiting for the tooth fairy to show up and stuff like that. And the next stage from here is like, so you know, when you like after that, for all of us, like when we hit the 3rd grade, it's something about the 3rd grade where
3rd grade is the hump.
It's like something different.
Yeah, it's the hump.
Yeah, it goes from the cute babies until
I gotta really learn something and show what I learned.
It's something different. It's something different about that third year of school, man. It's just different. So I'm looking forward to that piece. But I'm just also looking forward to see how the things that they do now change into something else.
Mama said y'all rich.
Y'all rich. She said y'all rich.
He ain't rich, Mama. He is not. We struggle.
So giving you a little just a little graphic. You know, it's interesting that you mentioned the 3rd grade. The 3rd grade is when they really assess the pipeline, the prison piece. So if the 3rd grade is not good, that's what they're assessing how many jails they need to build.
What?
Yes,
they use the
statistics from test scores.
I know here, all of your mandatory testing, whatever state you're in, so whether it be SOL or whatever state has what.
ITBS.
So all of that, what you have to show in education shows in the 3rd grade. So they assess the statistics after the 3rd grade. So if for your area, for your demographic, for your state, if these are trending low in the African American community, Black and brown folks specifically, they assess those numbers and percentages to figure out whether we need growth trends
in
the jail system, in the prison system. It's undercover, but those statistics show them what they need to do. So being that prisons are privatized, you got people, money makers, watching to make sure, all right, is this trending up or is this trending low? Can we stay right here in the privatized prison system, or should we start to invest our money in land and property to further discuss, building?
That's crazy.
Isn't it? It is absolutely crazy, but it happens.
It happens. And we are finding now, even with our son, this 6th to 8th grade, these middle school years, all 3 of them, every last one of them, it's a
Middle school is
beast.
rough.
Middle school, because then they're actually, how the old people say, they start smelling themselves a little bit. They start realizing they have to interact with bunches of different teachers, bunches of different people. The school is bigger. It's not the little quaint elementary school where you can know everybody. It's things like that that we are kind of, we've gotten through 2, and we're making our way through this 3rd one, and it's a little bit more difficult.
But so even with that being said,
Mm-hmm.
so per generation, you know how it's just everything just changes.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, it seems like everything now is happening sooner.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So where you say between the grades of 6 and 8, for my kids, it's probably going to be between the grades of 3 to 5.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we see stuff now from our kids that they do at the age of 6 that we probably didn't do until like middle school.
Hey, I completely agree, because some of the math work and how they trying to teach the math, some of the work that he's learning in the 8th grade, I don't remember doing at all in high school. At all.
But here's the thing, even when it comes to education, so it's like they're going the wrong way with it in certain certain ways. You know what I mean? Like unless you're becoming some type of architect or banker or whatever, where is algebra?
Unless you're science, unless you're going to a lab, you're going to architect,
the science
and
the sciences
and the
are
math.
growing.
But it's just a lot of this stuff. I think because the kids are exposed to more and more, and they're really starting to realize, yo, I'm never going to use this, so why I got to pay? I might not use it ever again.
Well, that's not the point. No, that's where I get.
Well, this is what. Can I finish?
Yes, go ahead.
This is, and I think more hands-on, because a lot of kids this day and age have really, because they're exposed to so much so early with the YouTubes, with the internet, with all the things they can expose. A lot of them are picking out their careers more so at an early age than when we was like, oh, I don't want to do until like 11th or 12th grade, and still this might not be for me. Just like my oldest, he knew what he wanted to do in the 5th grade and worked his way towards it. He's almost finished. Well, he knew what he wanted to do in the 5th grade. I believe Destiny knew that she was wanting to be some type of artist earlier, and this one upstairs, she wants to be in film and photography, some kind of cinematography. And I think a lot of kids now, because of the massive exposure of cable television, the internet, and YouTube, they begin to figure out what they want to do at such an early age and work their way towards
You ask my daughter right now, she wants to be a doctor and a chef.
Okay.
Right now. My son, he wants to do something with cars. There has not been, since he started elementary school and they go to the library, there has not been a time he has not brought a book home about a car. He can look at a car and tell you what kind of car it is. It can ride past you on the street. It can be a Bentley. It can be a Lamborghini. It can be a Porsche. It can be a Maserati. He'll tell you what it is. He'll tell you what it is. And that's what he reads books on.
That's if he can pinpoint it, that's good. But I was just saying, that's what perturbs me, especially I understand them picking and choosing what they want to be. All that is all well and good. I encourage children to have that in mind. But what trips me up with this generation and our son and the kids at his school, some of them, I'm not gonna pinpoint all of them, but my hang up with them is the fact that they like, I don't want to do this. This is not going to be this is not going to aid me to go towards the career I want to go to. So I'm not going to use it. So they don't try as hard. But you need this right now, regardless of they pick and choose, how they feel about it.
And what the effort they're going to put in.
Right. And I'm like, regardless, you could not use this once you walk across that stage. I don't care if you ever have to use it again. That does not eliminate you from putting forth the same amount of effort in your electives that could potentially spear you into whatever your career is, and the ones that you think are trash. And so for some reason they have this mentality is I don't have to put as much effort in because I don't want to do it. And so that's my hang up now with that one too upstairs is like, no, you need to put just as much effort in these ones you like and the ones you don't like, because guaranteed in your career path, if you should be so fortunate as to, get a job in your career path, you're going to be bottom of the barrel first. You're not going to shoot to the top. So you're going to be doing stuff you don't want to do, but it's all an acceleration towards the career that you want later on. So you definitely in your academics at this point can't pick and choose what you put effort in, because if you put effort in the slack stuff and the stuff you don't like, if you don't put effort in that, so when you get the job that you don't like, but it's somewhat going towards your career path, you mean to tell me you're gonna be last days cool in that too? So I
think it's kind of, even going back to our generation, I think it's kind of always been that way. We just haven't. I just think in our generation we weren't as outwardly saying
right.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, I don't want to do that. You know what I mean? Like,
we would just shut down.
Yeah, we would. I literally, and I said to y'all earlier, I don't like to read, but I would literally go to my English class in high school in 12th grade and sleep at the teacher's desk every day. This man used to knock on the door and be like, "Bro, I'm sleeping. I'm gonna be all right." But I would go to science because I loved it and knock it out the park.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go to Miss Thompson class and catering, knock it out the park. It's all in what you want to do. What draws you in is what draws you in. If you don't have if there's no draw to it for you, then a lot of times, sometimes you tend to fall back.
You will.
The ones with the people with the stronger mentality of just making it, like they know I got to do this to make it out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There are no other options.
Are the ones that really make the push,
yeah,
whether they want to do it or not. The ones that I kind of know what I want to do, but I don't know, and you still trying to figure it out. Those are the ones, like myself at the time. Those are the ones that when you get into a situation where you really don't feel like it's gonna be beneficial to you, or you're gonna even succeed at it, that you tend to pull back and you draw up quick. So.
Well, see, this is the thing we have to remind our kids, and we have to remind everybody. Just because, like Tyann said, just because you don't want to do it, but if this is required, but just like you did, you figured out a way to get through the class. You figured out, you communicated with your teacher. And I think that's the biggest thing now that our this lower generation cannot effectively communicate face to face with one another. They don't have those skills.
They're not social.
They're not social.
They're social
and that's
electronics.
And that's next week's topic. This generation are much more lonelier than they're much more connected, but much more lonelier than previous generations. Huh? I said that's next week.
No, I just said that. It's okay. It was a grammar thing, and I'm gonna let it pass.
If you get in here early enough, you can do all the grammar stuff. But you don't never be in here till we about to go on. And you leave the one that can't spell to do all the spelling.
No, it wasn't a spelling. It was what you said. We'll let it.
Oh, boy.
What you say?
Oh, I was bad at it.
I'm terrible.
Lonely, not lonely.
Lonely.
All right, bro. Next.
I'm so lonely. All right. So the main topic of the night, and we've already been on for 40 minutes. It don't seem that long. The main topic of the night is code switching. Have you ever had to code switch? And those of you that do not know what code switching is, we're going to ask Tyann to share the definition from Urban Dictionary.
Oh, you going from Urban?
No, I'm just
Dictionary?
saying, whatever your definition is that you already pulled up of code switching. What is code switching?
Okay, well, we'll do this first of all, and I believe there is an Urban Dictionary. There is an Urban Dictionary definition, but I'll just read the first one that comes up from Google. The practice of altering between two or more languages or different languages in conversation. That's why I don't like that one, because we are not speaking of languages unless, Ebonics is an official language at this point. But Urban Dictionary's version of code switching would be to customize style of speech to the audience or group being addressed. For example, she talks street to her friends at school, but when she is with her family, she is code switching and speaking proper English. So essentially, it's not a matter of whether you have to, I don't think. I think all of us, especially people of color, have to code switch.
Definition number 2.
Oh, there's 2 definitions?
Yes, in Urban Dictionary.
Okay.
Speaking a particular way, using particular terms, references, depending on who you're addressing and or interacting with. I speak broken English when I talk to people who might not understand certain words, as code switch when I am with my literate family.
Literate family?
Literate
Okay,
family.
when you with your literate family.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'm gonna tell all y'all out there that's out there right now. I'm code switching
You go.
right now.
Okay, so which you code switching right now to what?
Okay, so
one more. Number 3, code switching is when you change your language and mannerism to adapt to a cultural or religious environment, similar to code switching, which was more often used to express something or someone using more than one language or dialect. Yeah, okay, all right, boom. The boys from the hood, code switching.
So they included religion in that example.
They included religion.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so I say I'm code switching right now
Okay.
because you guys know, off camera, my dialect is way different than what I'm talking right now. It is a little bit. I curse a lot.
You use a little bit more colorful language.
I use a little bit more colorful language.
Okay.
You know, but the rules of today was do yourself a favor and don't curse.
Don't curse.
So I have to. When y'all hear me stutter, I wanna.
You want to say something?
I want to say something a little bit more colorful, but I can't do that. So
I think, and the reason I brought this up is because a lot of us, like I said, people of color in particular, I didn't think about the religion thing, but we'll address that in a second. We have to do this in order to work.
Mm-hmm.
We have to, and then there are various forms of code switching in work. So you may code switch at least 4 times at work.
Explain that. Sis.
Okay, so You got the interview. Obviously, we're going to put on our good interview voice. That's switch one.
Tuck your chain.
Okay.
Button up.
And that's in the physical as well as in your speech mentality. So when you go to work, as much of us, many of us say we don't have cliques or stuff at work. That's just not true. There are, as humans, people at work that we are more comfortable with. Now, those people that we are more comfortable with, then we have our coworkers. Then we have the people they meet at work that we have to have conversations with, but they are not necessarily in the friend category, the work friend category, or they're not necessarily in the people I have to work very closely with. So that's the third set. And then you have the upper management. So when those people come down, you're going to turn it up just a slight bit more notch than you would from maybe your direct supervisor or the person that you directly account for. So you may code switch at least 4 times at work. Add to that a different dynamic if you are different culturally. So say if I were Hispanic, I got a whole nother set of people that I can talk to on my level that may speak Spanish with me, that are my friends, but I got a group over here that don't speak Spanish. They my friends too. So I got 2 different sets of friends at work. And then I got my supervisors in it. So those individuals that have that are blessed to be bilingual, they have a whole set of dynamics that we may not even face. But I think it's important that you know when and where to code switch. And for those people that may call it fake when you walk into work, because they recognize you've switched, or the people on the outside, you may have family members. You done got yourself a good job. And they say you being fake and you high and mighty because you got yourself a good job, have not learned the technique of code switching.
Okay.
Which is unhealthy, I think.
I think it's twofold. It's unhealthy because we have to code switch, especially POCs, people of color, to basically survive in a world or a country that is not accepting of all of our differences.
Right.
Not accepting all of our backgrounds, not accepting who we are, how we talk, or because a lot of times when we use slang, we were considered as being ghetto, or you're just not professional, as they like to use that word, is that you're not being professional enough. And I think it's like when I say it's twofold, is because sometimes you want to be exactly who you are with a certain group of people, and sometimes you can't be all of who you are and expect to get different promotions, different raises, and being accepted into being, I'm gonna say it just like this, a good Negro.
So even with that being said, so like I can't, particularly at work, I can't be who I am, the person I would be around you guys, right? Because the way me and D may talk, me and D talk aggressive to each other,
and that would not proceed
with no malice,
right?
Yeah.
But if I do the same thing in that different environment amongst people that aren't used to that, they're gonna take my aggression as something's wrong with me, or
they're gonna it's confrontational.
It's confrontational. It's funny that we bring this up because I actually had that happen at work 2 weeks ago, where me and another supervisor were having a conversation about an issue that we was having at work. And he was trying to explain his point. I was trying to explain my point, and he kept asking me, "Do I understand?" And I kept saying to him, no, I'm not getting it.
Mm-hmm.
No, and he kept saying it. So after a while, it got to a point where I kind of laid back on a file cabinet, and I started doing like this. And he was like, "So do you understand what I'm saying?" I was like,
I done told you no.
"No, like I'm not understanding what you're saying." I said because right now we're having a conversation. You're trying to get your point across because you feel like you're right. I'm trying to get my point across because I feel like I'm right. Now, granted, in the whole situation, with the situation that took place, I was wrong because I messed up somewhere.
Okay.
But I didn't know that until after the conversation we were having. But he literally went to my boss's boss.
Oh, wow.
And was like, so I had this problem with Kevin the other day, and it got back to me in my review.
Oh.
So is everything okay?
That's the joke that he getting me. Yo, we can do a year's worth of work, and we have one issue. Is everything fine?
So is everything okay?
Bruh. And it probably happened near the time of your review. The conversation.
So this happened. My review was already in. I just hadn't had my one-on-one yet. But it came up in my review.
In your review.
Like, was I okay? Now, my supervisor knows my situation.
Okay.
Y'all stop that.
He
Y'all
knows
stop that.
my situation. And I'm not going to really go in depth with that, but for everybody out there, I had a rough year last year.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And there were things going on with me that I'm not going to really get into. But he knew the situation. And when he asked me, was everything okay? He was asking me from a standpoint of, was I having a bad day that day?
Right.
And I was like, no. I was like, I was frustrated with him because he kept asking me,
Do I understand?
Do I understand? And I've already told you at least 5 times already.
I do not.
I'm not getting what you're saying. Because if I'm physically, if you're giving me numbers, but I'm telling you I physically touched it in my count, then
ain't nothing you can tell me.
Ain't nothing you can tell me. No, there's not a direction you can lead me into to change my mind about it, because I physically went out there and put my hand on it while I was doing it. When you're looking at a computer,
you're saying this should be
and going based off of these weights and stuff like that. So, it wasn't like it caught any kind of traction or anything like that, but it was just the fact that it happened that way.
And see, in those instances, I think it is very important, especially for people in leadership roles. You got supervisors and heads of companies and bosses and all of this stuff, that when you get these positions, you recognize who people are and learn how to speak to those people and their characteristics. And if you don't know how, seeking someone else to try to relay the message. But they don't, I think most people in those positions don't want to let go. There's a power struggle. They don't want to let go of the fact that they are in those places of position. So they're not going to seek out somebody else.
And they don't know how to code switch either.
They don't know how to code switch because they don't have to.
Yep, they don't have to.
They don't have to.
Because they're mostly in the majority and don't have to code switch.
They don't have to code
Just
switch.
like it's interesting, even on my job. Currently, me and one other black man is the only 2 black men in the building. It's only one other. There's no Latino men in the building. There's a Latino woman in the building. And that's all the POCs. It's 3.
One Latino woman.
Yep.
And 2
black men and 1 black woman. It's 4 POCs in the entire.
And how many people are in your establishment?
It is about 25.
Okay. Yeah.
Where the majority is white women.
White women.
Nope, it's 2 black women. 2 black women.
Okay.
2 black women.
Either way, y'all are outnumbered.
Yeah, outnumbered about everything. And so when the POCs see a problem and bring it up, it's rarely addressed because
They
they
don't
don't
understand.
understand, and
They
we
don't
outnumbered.
understand. I think, and this is the work dynamic. Most of us, unless you own your own business, which you are fortunate to do, and maybe we will grow up and be there one day. But it's an unfortunate thing we have to face. And like I said, that's the dynamic. Is the fact that we have to learn situations where we have to code switch, which happens several times daily basis, and then you have these non-people of color who've never had to code switch. They may in one or two instances when they are trying not necessarily to fit in, but if you like a group of people,
Mhm.
and then in order for you to fit in that specific situation, they try to code switch, but it doesn't come off as code switching. It comes off as appropriation, and it comes off as, which I also have on my list, slight microaggression. Microaggression.
Please explain that.
I'll look up the definition of that for y'all. But essentially, take for instance, when I had locks, right? And you got this a lot because we got this hair issue that's going on at places of work and in schools or whatever. And you got it in particular. Microaggression, the example of microaggression is when I had locks. A white woman walking up to me and saying, "Oh my God, I love your hair. It's so neat." Now, I could be a jerk and be like, "What do you mean by it's so neat? Are locks not supposed to be neat?" And to her, she didn't mean nothing by it. But that is a form of unaware microaggression. You are telling me that the perception that you have is locks are not neat and unprofessional. But you call yourself trying to compliment me by telling me my hair is neat. Yes, I know my hair is neat because I put it there. You see what I'm saying? So those are examples of or someone telling you, your children speak so well. Microaggressions.
Let somebody tell me that.
They're so well behaved.
Those so well behaved.
You know, you just said that, but I never thought about it that
yes,
way.
those are examples of microaggressions when they are taking what they perceive, sometimes stereotypes, especially in people who are rarely around Black folk, or in workplaces where they only encounter Black people at work. So that is your only example of the people that you work around.
Right. This is 21 commonplace microaggression statements.
Okay.
Like if you see somebody that's, "Oh no, where are you really from?"
Right.
Like if you see Asian or just somebody just different from, "Where are you really from?" That's microaggression. Or to a fair-skinned person, Black person, "What are you?
What you mix with?
What you mix with?
What you be?
What you be?" Like those are examples, and those are very offensive, but they happen in the workplace. And because, like I said at the top of this, they don't have situations where they have to keep switching up and make sure. A portion of our code switching is all of it is unfair, but most of it is so we can make other people feel comfortable. Not so that we are taking care of ourselves, but it's so that we can make others around us not feel like we're being aggressive, not feel like, "Oh Lord, here's another angry Black woman that I work with." Or, "Tyan, why do you get so excited about these situations? Can you use a lower tone of voice?" So these are to make
them feel
more comfortable in a space where we all have to work. And so if somebody has ever told you that they have not had the code switch, I would say they are completely oblivious or they are a lie. Because it is a must for us. And it's an unfair must, but it is a must for us in whatever situations. Like I said, when he brought up at the beginning about religion, that's a fact.
Woo! First of all, I'm gonna tell you how you code switch. Most of y'all don't wear suits on the regular, and so you code switch just to get in the church so people won't talk about you.
Or I would take I don't like pointing fingers at people, so I take myself for instance, which is really, this can be a code switch, but I play it in such a way. I'm just trying to take away stigma. Yes, I'm a pastor's wife, but you're not going to lay your expectations of me, of what a pastor's wife should look like, on me. So don't tell me, Tyann, you're not dressing up in these suits and hats.
Gotta wear your hat.
Or you not, why you not sitting on this front row? Or why every time the church doors are open, you not sitting right next to your husband? You're not going to lay those out on me. But I also know I have to switch because there are eyes on me. So I cannot say what I would normally say. I have to be very cautious about what I say, and to whom I say it to. So I check myself and I code switch when I walk in the church, because I won't sit the same way as I would in my house as I would in the house of the Lord, because I know people are sensitive to those facts and they're not looking for that type of aggression from me. But I'm quick to tell them, please don't get it twisted. Like, I'm not going to hold much back if I feel like it needs to be said.
Yeah, but all right, so like you put yourself, like I put myself at work. At one point I had code switched so much that when the real me came out, the next day somebody had to come to me and be like,
yeah.
like I've never seen that from you before. You're usually so what did you say? You're usually so calm and collected about yourself. Because I've never seen you just like take it to that level. I'm like, well,
y'all did it.
I can be pushed to that level,
Yeah. And it will happen.
Yeah, it will happen. For the most part, in the work environment, when I started the job that I have now, it's a diverse crowd of people. So there are a number of Hispanics working there. There are a number of people of color working there, and you got your
all the others.
Okay, working there.
Mm-hmm.
And the first time I walked into the break room for lunch, everybody was segregated off. All the Hispanics were over here. It seemed like all the white people were over here. It seemed like a group of blacks sit together.
That's not like jail.
So I started sitting to myself. Because for one thing, I just wanted to kind of just be by myself and be quiet. So when I came in as a just mild-mannered, quiet, and at the time coming from working almost pretty much a part-time job, and then going to something full-time, I'm hungry. So I don't really have time, in my mind, I don't have time for what y'all doing right now.
Right.
This right here, I'm not used to. I ain't got time for it. I'm cool with everybody. So I just chose to sit to myself. But me sitting to myself and being quiet and having that work ethic at the time is what propelled me to get the position I have now.
Right.
Because they just saw me as a person that came in and held my head down and just did the job and go home. And being that way, and now I'm in a supervisor's position. It's almost like they still want to see that person with their head down, pushing forward. But now I have a group of people that are under me.
So you have to speak up.
I gotta speak
Yeah.
up. Like there's not. Basically, what you did is you took a person off the floor that was just used to being an operator, and you made him a supervisor. My mindset is for me to help my people
Right.
Mm-hmm.
and my team.
You're a leader.
That's my job.
Yeah.
My job is to make sure that they get to where they want to get to. If they get to where they want to get to, or if prime example, I was told in my review, well, Kevin, you need to drive your team better.
Mm-hmm.
Mind y'all, I have the highest producing team in this place where I work. His definition of drive is different than my definition of drive.
Mm-hmm.
Or the way you go about it.
Yeah, the way I go about it. I'm not going to be a person that's going to stand over top of you and micromanage you and chop type person. We're all adults. We come to work. You know your job. I know mine. You play your position. I play my position.
Right.
We all eat.
Yep.
Anybody seen Peyton Fool?
Mhm.
Y'all remember he sat back and he was like, "We all eat." That's how I felt. I came in
Bill
as
Belichick.
we
do,
all
do your job.
do your job. We all
All
eat. You know what I mean? So like, but they want people of color to be passive and meek and quiet and not say nothing and fall back and cower a little bit when something comes from up top. You know what I mean? Like I'm not that dude.
Right.
Now I can say in my time of not being in the right place last year when I was going through my ordeal and stuff like that my mind wasn't in the right place to even deal with any of that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm dealing with myself, so you automatically somewhat shut down.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
You shut down. You don't really care what they say.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever you say, that's what I'll do. That's fine with me. You know, but that also brings anxiety.
Because you got to hold all that.
So now I'm dealing with my situation, and now I got to go to work and deal with their situation, how they want me to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
So now I really don't want to go to work.
Yeah.
I really don't want to work there no more. But once you get through your situation and you move forward, and you feel yourself coming back like I do now,
Mm-hmm.
that situation that we was having last year,
It's not even bothering you.
it's not going to take place this year.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not.
So it is a fair assumption, I think, to say we all have had to do it. Maybe some more than others, but I think it is also fair to say if you find yourself in those situations, well, first of all, knowing how to do it, not getting stuck, like Kevin said, in a way that you lose yourself because you'd have had the code switch. Then I think it becomes a point of self-evaluation. So having to remove yourself from places where you can't be yourself at all times. Fairly. I ain't saying go to work, turn up, and you at the club. I'm not saying that or talking every which way, but I'm just saying if you find yourself in a judgmental situation, you have code switch and then you can't switch back when you leave work, then you need to evaluate your surroundings. Yeah. But we're gonna end this. We got a couple other things we're gonna bring up next week. Because we ain't gonna keep y'all long. We got some stuff to do. So anything you need to add?
One of the things is it was funny when he was talking about the code switching piece. I had to turn into completely myself this week because and you turn to yourself when stressors hit you.
Oh yeah, you get triggered.
You get triggered because when you start doing a lot and you don't see somebody else doing as much, you get triggered.
Yeah.
And one of the things is we was moving some pallets. And it was like, yes, we want this pallet moved over here and we want it broken down. I was like, whoa, no, we not breaking that down.
No.
Because it was like, wow, why wouldn't you? I said, because if I break this down, when it needs to get shipped back out, who's going to have to put the same pallet back together? Me. I'm not doing that. If you break it down, you can break it down. And when you need to ship it back out, you can come and fulfill the pallet. And my manager's manager looked at me and was like, "Oh, okay."
I can't get past you on this one. And that's what it is. I think once you put your foot down and let people know
That you ain't going for the okadoke.
there's some stuff I won't take. You're not gonna slide past me this time.
Because people want to try to play you like you Sam Sausage Head sometimes, but
Sam Sausage Head.
seriously, like they want to play you like you
don't know nothing.
like you don't know nothing.
Yeah.
You know,
Like
like
you do the job every day.
okay, so you got the college degree. We think. So you got the college degree. I don't. But-
Ooh.
Life lessons. Sometimes better than college.
Yeah, common sense
Experience.
is way better than
Let me show you something. I was talking with my HR lady the other day, and she told me straight up, a college degree opens doors, but a lot of people with degrees ain't got no piece of common sense.
Yeah. Common sense works for you way better than most of the time.
And now, the only thing a lot of times they ask for college degrees. Why? Because they know you got a bill to pay, and you're not going to be quickly to leave this decent paying job because you got those student loan payments, and you're going to be a little bit loyal.
Mm-hmm.
That's how a lot of jobs are looking at it.
All right, y'all.
All right. We are catch y'all next week, same bad time, same bad channel. We thank Kevin for coming and chilling in the basement on the couch with us. We thank the ice eater over in the corner for being here. Just crunching. We appreciate you, and we'll see y'all
next week.
See y'all. Listen to us. Remember, please share, please like. We on the YouTube, I sound like an old man. On YouTube and Facebook,
and the space
and IG, Insta Snap.
I ain't on none of it.
We ain't on the Snapchat. But also listen to us on the Spotify, Apple. Are we on Apple?
No,
we're not on Apple. Google Podcasts. We stream live. No, we're not on Apple.
We're on Spotify,
Google Podcast. We're not on Apple because the format we use, Spreaker Radio, shout out to them for allowing us to be able to come on and talk our stuff. So you can go on Spreaker, not Speaker, Spreaker. SoundCloud. No, we're not. We used to be on SoundCloud, but they kind of, or iHeartRadio. We on iHeartRadio. All those formats. We're not on SoundCloud because SoundCloud charge you, and I'm already paying one people to be on, and so I'm not paying nobody else. Appreciate you. We're looking for ads. We're looking for sponsors. If you want to be we're arranging about 150 now views, likes, and listen every week. So
we want to get that to at least 500 by the year.
By the end of the year, by the end of 2020, 500. We want to be doing some this summer. Be listening out for some live broadcasts. We're gonna get that relationship panel again back because that joint was hilarious and funny. Dorez, Angie, the Bookers, the Youngers, everybody. The Thompsons say they want to come on and talk about relationship too. So we're gonna get them coming over. We're gonna add some people to the panel and get everybody in. Want to do one with you and Kevin, Kai.
We have to redo Kairos.
We have to redo Kairos because for some odd reason it did not work.
And that was
an awesome. It got her being introducing herself, and then it went dead. I don't know what happened. Fade to black. But yeah, we just want to thank you all for continuing to support this. I'm about to go into church mode close. Continue to support this ministry, but. Continue to support this venture and this output. Be on the lookout. Live events coming soon. We're going to probably host our first live event either this summer or early fall. So check us out. If we don't see you next week, we are busy with life. Love y'all. Peace.
Peace.
We're going to end this video.
Be careful. This is still on. Okay. Don't say that crazy for the next at least 20 seconds.
Yeah, that's ended.
Still on.
End.